sometimes you're like, well, I don't want to be too immersed because I want to have fun also. Sometimes you need to make sure that you are not confusing fun with addiction. Well, it's just a blessing to see you. Glory be to God. Okay, so I am going to talk to you today about something that may elude many artists many times and torpedo many of the things that you are wanting to do and said that you're going to do. And yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and launch right into it. It's called this terrible word that you may be almost afraid of at this point in time. It's called focus. Yes, focus. We're going to talk about focus today and how to achieve that. So here is, again, the way our brains work. We're very, very visual, most of us, okay? Most of us are very, very visual. So because of that, we have to be very, very careful, and I talked about this in previous videos, where you have to be very, very careful in terms of knowing how your brain works, that because it is so visual that you can visualize really good things or really, really bad things. So you have to be careful about what you watch, what you say. You got to be careful about all that stuff, okay? Now, what's interesting about focus is that people think that focus and concentration are the same thing. They're not. Focus is different. Focus is almost looking at it as concentration, but it's actually not. So concentration is where I can just, stare at a pen or something like that, and you're just looking at it, you're concentrating on it, That's concentration, okay? That's concentration. Focus is when you have oriented your mind onto a specific task. That's focus. You've oriented your mind into a specific task. And a lot of times, the reason why we don't actually know to do that, because we keep on confusing the two. And our visual minds, we can concentrate on something, but it's got to kind of move us emotionally at the same time too. So this is why you can be like, oh, so-and-so is terrible at focus or whatever it is, and he's not doing their schoolwork, and here are the reasons why. Let's put them on medication. And, let that be that. And yet, the same person that's being told that they can't concentrate can concentrate on a lot of different things. Favorite music, favorite TV show. I mean, they're locked in. Why? Because they're having an emotional connection with that thing. Artsy-fartsy people, for the very most part, the way that we manifest the art is from an emotional spot. Doesn't mean that we're just, flailing out there and flaming out all the time. I talked about that also in one of my videos. But it doesn't mean that you're out there just freaking out and flailing around all the time. But you do orient it towards your work. There's things that impact you that you put in your work subconsciously before you even know that it's actually in there. Let alone the fact that when you actually do decide to put it in there, what kind of packaging do you want to put it in there? Do you want to be the super serious, weeping, crying artist? Or do you want to have a mixture where it is palatable enough for someone to look at it and be invited into it, and at the same time too have this greater narrative in the piece that you're actually putting together, or the music that you're putting together? Michael Jackson did that a bunch. He would take a concept like, hey, take responsibility for yourself. If you want to change the world, make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make the change. But that was a pop record. You know what I'm saying? he even did an anti-discrimination, anti-racist pop song. Doesn't matter black and white. And made a pop hit. We're like, yeah, racism is bad. So these are things that the guy did. I might do a full video about that, about how are you going to package in your art. So let me know in the comments if you want that video in terms of making your art more palatable and not necessarily taking yourself so seriously, but taking the packaging of the messaging you're trying to give to the people taking that packaging more seriously than you're trying to take your feelings at the time of you delivering that particular piece of work. Anyway, okay. So we have these moments where we are completely and totally, as the kids say, locked in. So we're locked in and we're like, okay, well, how come they're saying that I'm not good at concentrating when I clearly am? Okay, so focus. What focus actually is immersing yourself in the thing that you're wanting to do or the thing you're wanting to say in terms of your overall messaging. It's immersing yourself into it. It is, the focus of it is the immersion of your mind on the thing that you're wanting to do. Now, if that sounds scary to you in terms of, hey, I don't know if I want to completely immerse myself in that thing. I want to have fun also. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But the immersing of yourself, your mind, in the thing that you want to do is what is required if you want to get to the levels that you're trying to get into. Okay? Usually that's exactly what you hear. You hear about professional athletes. You hear about the best of the best. That's all that they did. They would practice and do this and do this and do this and do this and think about this and watch the tapes. All of the great athletes and all the great ones are the ones who completely and totally immersed their minds in that thing that they were trying and wanting to do. So therefore, do the same thing. That's what focus actually is. And the fun part is the fact that you are most likely already immersed in it anyway, but now it's just time to kind of immerse yourself in some of the technical aspects of it too. Now, here is the pivot. The pivot is that sometimes you're like, well, I don't want to be too immersed because I want to have fun also. Okay. Sometimes you need to make sure that you are not confusing fun with addiction. Don't confuse fun with addiction. Okay? Fun is something that is a break that rests your mind and focuses in on to enjoying the creation and the things that you've been provided with and that God has provided you with. It's simply doing that. That's what fun is playing in the creation itself. It's having fun with it. And the way that you do that could be thousands of different ways. Some people will play in the creation in terms of video games. Why? Is that creation? Because it's a creative work, maybe not creative people, and the plastic that you have in your hand, as well as the silicone chips and the materials and all the type of stuff that go into that. All that stuff is a form of play because you're playing the creation. Okay? Playing the creation. Having fun with it, playing around with it, or you go outside, jog, have fun. I don't think that jogging is fun. But, like you do something to have fun with what you're doing, okay? Addiction is where you're hurting in here and you're using that in order to do a self-medication. Addiction is something that here is wrong in your heart. And you're not fixing it. You're not overcoming it. Because you've most likely been told that you can't overcome it. Well, people told me all the time that I could overcome it. Did you believe them? You told yourself you can't overcome it. Because you have visualized, going back to the visualization again, we're very, very heavy when it comes to the visualization. You haven't imagined yourself as being the quiet nerd or the aloof person or all these other definitions, and that a person like you is not strong like that. So instead of even embracing the overcoming of the challenge, you run from it, and sometimes you run from it violently. Sometimes when you have an addiction and that you're running from all these things, you are violently running. What does that look like? That looks like I'm willing to burn all these relationships I have with other people that have told me that I can do it. I'm willing to burn all those down to make sure that I can keep running. I will run right through you, right past you. I will run. That is running violently. And right now, most of the world is, or I guess here in the US, there is a revolution almost of violent running. People now would rather harm other people to run past the thing that they need to overcome. You may have done that. You may have hurt people in order for you to run from the thing that's actually going on, from the confrontation that you have inside here. I know this is all heavy for dealing with art stuff, but it's a reason why you don't start. There's a reason why you keep running from the challenge. There's a reason why. I've done it. So I can talk about it. I'm sitting there trying to come at you a certain kind of way because I think that I've got all the answers. I don't. But I am saying that that's an issue where it's stealing your focus, because addiction and focus really actually the same thing, and they compete against each other all day long. But one makes you feel far worse after you're done indulging in that addiction. And sometimes the addiction can be things like things to escape, and to only escape for the sake of not dealing with the part here. It can be watching way too many movies, playing way too many games, doom scrolling for hours and hours and hours, all to make sure you are not confronting what you need to confront about yourself. And the thing that most people don't want to confront about themselves is that you ain't that good of a person. Right? Let's just be real about it. Let's be real about it. So, Christian, may have gathered that by now. But even in my faith, you don't say that you're a good person. Even Jesus himself said that, why do you call me good? None is good but the Father. So he was saying that you are acknowledging my divinity because only the Father is good. So therefore, why are you saying that I'm good? Mankind, we're all just kind of weird and shady and have this flesh, and we do bad things. Well, how many bad things do I need to do in order to be a bad person? I think you just need to do bad things. I think that the scale of it is just not to the point where other people are, but you're not comparing yourself to other people. Because the other people are comparing themselves to other people. So the scumbag guy that stole your tires from your car, that guy is still like, I'm still better than Frank over there, because Frank would have stolen the whole car. I at least left the chassis. And then Frank is saying that, hey, all I did was take your life savings. If I was Jamal over there, Jamal would have taken the life savings and killed somebody. And Jamal's like, well, yeah, but what I didn't do is what my homeboy showed me. What one of these different names now. What T-Bone said. T-Bone over there would have done that and desecrated the course. So I know I'm a good person. I'm better than T. Like, this keeps going. This keeps going. And as long as you're trying to throw someone else under the bus to make yourself look good, that ain't right. Like, you're willing to throw someone else in the hell so that you can escape it? What? Is that how we're going to do it? No. I think that you need to deal with the dark side of you. I know I've got it. As long as I got this, the flesh, I know I got it. Jesus does many things for me in terms of pushing me away from things I would normally have said without him. There are many things that he has said. I was like, oh, that thought popped in there, and I was like, brother, I grew up saying venomous things. Okay, I am not a good person. I have been the type of person, I guess maybe in my flesh still am, but if it was just up to me, I would not like to, because that's strong now, because, there is a redemptive work in me, in Jesus. But there are moments where it's like, if I was in the flesh, I'd be like, you'd be in serious trouble. Not because I'm trying to physically harm you, I mean, really? Like I'm not a big dude. I'm just saying, like, the psychological warfare, how far I was willing to take that, and I have taken that. It's not good. It's not good at all. So, I know I'm not a good person. I embrace there's darkness in me. And that, I'm not going to say it's okay, but just accept it. Just accept that that's there and do better to suppress it by having actual fun and not piling on addiction on top of it. Or, you know, because sometimes those ideas like, I'm not a coward, well, you keep on running from everything and everybody. How's that not cowardice? You're willing to not confront yourself, but try to confront other people just to escape and make yourself feel better? How's that not being a coward? Some just have a problem being cowards. It is what it is. I don't go by what should be. I don't know who should is. I've never met should before in my life. I've met who is, but I've never met should before. He's like the Tooth Fairy or the Easter Bunny. What? So some of you are doing the addiction because you're just depressed and sad. But again, a lot of that is you focusing in on something outside of what you need to focus in on. The thing that you want to do, immerse your mind in it, immerse yourself in it. Submerge yourself completely into the thing and let the addictions be done away with. It's not helping you. Immersing yourself into things and making sure that you're orienting yourself towards the things that you feel that you want to do and that you're really wanting to do. Immerse yourself in those things and have healthy outlets to where it's not going to destroy your focus again. Don't set yourself up for failure. If you have an addiction with alcohol, for example, don't have a bunch of alcohol in the house. Make it at least difficult, Make it at least difficult. And some people, when they're removing themselves from the addiction, they might have like a little bit of something, like, for example, there's alcohol that I know, and the thing that this person did was that they just had one or two around, and but prior to that, they just slowly decreased it because the desire was beginning to go away because they were focusing in on other things at that point in time in their life. And this kind of desire just went down, and they had it there as almost like a safety net type of thing until they could be completely done with it. I'm not saying I recommend to do that, but at the same time too, it's a gradual decreasing. Don't freak your body out by saying, cold turkey, I'm never going to do this again. Cap. Like, don't do that. Slowly. Talked about this before. Slowly. Let's keep on adding. Don't overwhelm yourself. Any system that gets overwhelmed will shut down. That includes this thing right here. Not Batman, but this thing up here into your brain. Any system that gets overwhelmed will shut down. 100%. So that's what's stealing your focus a lot of times. Is the addiction. The addictions are just a strong focus in things that you're covering up in your heart because you don't want to be hurt anymore. Your focus all this time has been not being hurt anymore. You've immersed yourself in not being hurt. And the thing you need to realize is that you're not the little boy anymore. You're not the little girl anymore. You have options now. You can put yourself around better situations and better people. You can do that. You can network better. If you are young watching this, start immersing yourself in some trusted adults, maybe some teachers or some mentors. Like, start being around this. Because the people who are going to not be ridiculous morons in terms of adults, because there's plenty of them out there. Young people, by the way, I don't want you to take 10 years or maybe even 20 years figuring out that adults don't know what they're talking about most of the time and that they just posture. That's the truth. They just do. And all of them. But don't be like surprised when you come out of high school and graduate or whatever. It's like, I thought y'all knew what you were doing. Cap. So just understand that. But anyway, get around some mentors and some people that you would want to be like. There are programs out there and there are people out there that you can, safely immerse yourself into. We have this program where it's like you have a government-sponsored mentor, and that government-sponsored mentor is a person that has a business, and they just walk you through how to do a business. And it's great. You can do things like that, or go to your local library and, just like look up some directories. Get around a new network of people to where you're not freaking out all the time. If you know a bunch of stupid people and you're leery about them, well, you can get around other people. But you have to stop saying yourself and visualizing yourself as being, this weak turd, person that you are because you got made fun of when you were in 5th grade. Like, stop that. Again, you visualize this stuff. Visualize yourself as an actual happy person. Visualize yourself as, well, that sounds like it's being fake. Well, guess what? It's also being fake saying that you have nothing to live forever. That's also being fake. That's not realistic either. That's not realistic. Like, what are we talking about? It's not realistic. It's not realistic to sit there and say that, everything's all bad all the time. There's also great joy around you too. What are you going to focus in on? Immerse yourself. Immerse yourself into things that are good. When bad things happen, there are things to learn about. There are things to give you guidance. And in that bad experience that you had, there's this seed of you, once you overcome it, there's a seed of you that has this precious seed that when someone else that you care about or love or meet just on the street, you can then give that seed about how you overcame that to them. And that's the joy and the beauty of overcoming. But you can only do that through focus. People who don't focus don't overcome. That's why addiction and focus, they look similar to each other, but you never overcome. Never overcome. You ran, and then you feel guilty about running, and then you feel guilty again. Then after that, you're destroying your self-image, and all you see yourself is a coward because that's what you're behaving like. Doesn't mean you are that. Just means that you're behaving like that. But maybe you are that. Now what? Maybe you're not a good person. Now what? Guess what? Nobody's good. There are people who would 100% consider me to be a good dude. And I'm like, I'm not. I know what goes on up here sometimes. I'm not a good person. And that's okay. Because no one else is good either. Now, this is why I want to start preaching. But I'm not going to go to my other channel for that. Okay, I'll preach a little bit. This is why I've been believing in and leaning in on Jesus and his righteousness, not my own. I don't have any virtue to signal. The virtue that there is to signal belongs to him. So I'm not a plagiarist. I don't do that. Anyway, so yeah, this is how you focus. That's why it's been eluding you. So what are you going to do? Are you going to keep running, or are you going to actually focus and immerse yourself in that thing? And on a practical level too, sometimes if you're afraid to immerse yourself in that thing you say you want to do, you may not want to do that thing. You might have to rethink about it. Or it might be a specific thing that you want to gain out of it. Like, for example, I immerse myself a lot of times with, things of scripture and things like that. I immerse myself with that, And for a long time, I was trying to immerse myself into business. And then I was like, I don't want to look at business stuff all day long. And the reason why I didn't want to is because that's not where my true intent was. My true intent at the end of the day, if I'm not a psychopath and I believe what I actually believe, is to tell somebody about Jesus at some point in time. Now that I immerse myself in. That's why I be immersing myself in it. But sometimes those addictions, and that could be anything. It could be food. It could be, of course, the naughty stuff online. It could be drinking. It could be drugs. It could be a ton of stuff. It could be stealing. Some people are just addicted to stealing, the thrill of it. Some people are addicted to just causing drama because they want the emotional highs and lows. Like, some people are just addicted to stuff. But in the words of Jesus, is the body more than just something to be fed? Like, is that all we're doing? No, I want you guys to focus. All right. I love you all. Catch you on the remix. I went long. Love y'all.